Hey there, welcome back to another video. This time around, it is another physical media video, and it's another collection video. I haven't done one of these in a while, and I had been meaning to do another one of these, but I just didn't really necessarily get around to it. But thanks to Harvey, who requested this video, uh, here we are. And I'm going to be showing you my collection of bootleg physical media. Now, before I go any further, definitely want to give a special shout out to Harvey for requesting this video. And if there is another topic, film, or TV show that you would like to see me discuss in the future, feel free to donate to either my PayPal, my Patreon, or my Cash App. The links to all three are going to be in the video description down below, and I will try to get your requests as soon as I possibly can. Now, before I show my bootlegs, I want to talk a little bit about bootlegs in general. I know it's a taboo topic for some physical media collectors. For some people, it's like a hard no. They're like, I will never have a bootleg. I will not own any bootlegs. I refuse. It's illegal. You're taking away money from the artists and so on. And I understand that. I get it. But I only buy bootlegs of shows that are not available on physical media officially, or films that haven't gotten a release on DVD, Blu Ray, or 4K, or films that I just don't necessarily like enough to go spend like an insane amount of money on an import, or a show that technically is on physical media but only overseas somewhere, and the DVD is like hundreds of dollars. Like I would much rather have a bootleg of that show than spend all this money on a region locked DVD set. So that's why I might have some bootlegs here that technically do have a release, but most of them do not. And I think, there is honestly a place for it. I don't really think you're taking anything away from the artists, any profit away from them, because a lot of the stuff that gets bootlegged doesn't have an official release. And even if it was released officially, these artists, the people who made these films or shows, they've already been paid. They're not going to get residuals most of the time. So you're not really taking money away from them. The only thing you're taking money away from is, the studios, who already have enough money as it is. And in all honesty, if they wanted the money, they could have just released the show or the movie on DVD or Blu-ray in the first place. So the first one I have here is honestly one of the oldest bootleg sets that I still have left. And this is The Hitchhiker, the complete series. It's just, no frills, just DVD-Rs in white paper sleeves. But this is the entirety of the Hitchhiker sci-fi horror anthology show. Uh, the physical media history of this show is interesting, because in the United States, there were 3 volumes of the show that were released, but they weren't complete seasons. It was just random episodes from various seasons of the show that were collected into these volumes. Very similar to the original VHS and I think Laserdisc releases of The Hitchhiker when they came out on those formats. And if you were lucky, you were able to get the season sets that were released in Canada. But if you weren't, like most people, because those are incredibly rare and hard to find nowadays, you were stuck with just the volumes, and it wasn't even the entire show. And even if you did have the Canadian releases, you still were missing episodes. And some of the episodes were still cut. So this is the uncut complete series of The Hitchhiker. And it's got all the episodes, and it even has extras. I think like TV spots and some other stuff that the seller created. And I got this, I think, off of iOffer years ago. And that's where that's where I started out getting bootlegs, by the way. The first ever bootlegs that I ever got were from iOffer. It was stuff like this, the VH1 I Love series. Um, I'm trying to think of some of the, the 80s Twilight Zone, some Unsolved Mysteries, like old VHS rips, uh, sightings, and I'm trying to think of what else. Because I know it was definitely the 80s Twilight Zone. And what was crazy about the Twilight Zone is somebody just copied the data from their DVDs and just burned it onto these discs. And it was as if I had the actual DVDs, but they were on DVD-Rs. And I always remember the quality to be pretty decent, especially for the time. And the quality on that show, by the way, is just not great anyway. And I didn't get the official DVD releases of that show until years later. And I also used to make my own. I made my own sets of Tales from the Crypt. I made my own sets of Tales from the Dark Side. I did all of this. I made my own stuff. But it definitely pales in comparison to a lot of the stuff that I'm going to show you in this video. But when it comes to from that era of bootlegs, this is another one that I got from iOffer ages ago. This is definitely another one of my oldest bootlegs. This is the 70s Spider-Man TV show, the live action show. It's got all the episodes of the show on it. This show has never been officially released, which I'm honestly kind of surprised that it has not been officially released since it's Spider-Man. There are better quality versions of some of the episodes that I have on here that, a fan has like restored. But it still looks fine to me for a show from the 70s, and a lot of VHS rips and stuff like that. And honestly, as bootlegs go, this is actually a pretty good quality one for an older bootleg. And then the rest of these are just kind of random. I don't remember where I got these from. I think some of them I got from like Facebook. I think some sellers on a Facebook group. You have Clive Barker's AZ of Horror, A to Z of Horror, which is a Clive Barker documentary series that chronicles all these different horror films and the origins of horror and everything. I got this from the same guy that I got the Incredibly Strange film show from. And I don't have those DVDs to show you because I don't know where they are. They probably might be in like one of my many totes somewhere. But I figured, I almost kind of tweaked too many muscles just trying to get all this stuff. So I figured I would just take a break. Maybe I might show them if I find them. Maybe I'll show them in like another like vlog or something. But I do have those as well from like the same guy who did this. And, it's just a blank disc. And there's some other ones that I have like that. In fact, there's like a disc that's like in a paper sleeve that was sent to me. Actually, I can get that real quick. Because this one, I think was an iOffer one again, or a contact. I think I contacted somebody on social media, and they sent me this. This is the Curse of Poltergeist, the True Hollywood Story documentary, which I've reviewed on this channel. And then it also he included a bonus, which is the Curse of the Exorcist, which is pretty awesome, to be perfectly honest. That's some really cool stuff. And this is a rarity. So I think it was like through a message board or something, or it could have been Facebook again. I don't remember exactly who I contacted and how I got a hold of this. It actually could have even been through YouTube, to be honest, like YouTube messages or something. This is some incredibly rare sightings content. In fact, he actually sent me 2 discs. I have the second disc somewhere as well. I don't remember where I put it, because I actually wound up archiving that. But this is the first disc. He sent me 2 discs, and this one includes some specials that people have been able to find for sightings. But the second one, which I'm kind of... I thought that this was the second disc, but it's just the first one. Well, you know, it is what it is. But the second disc is very rare sightings content that I've actually archived on a hard drive because it includes versions of these specials that aired on the Sci-Fi Channel, which were like the last bits of sightings ever produced. And as far as I know, I don't think they're anywhere else on the internet. So I actually have some really rare sightings content. So if anybody, you know, is a fan of that show, like I actually legitimately have full versions of some of those specials that, as far as I'm concerned, and from all the searches that I've done, they're not on YouTube and they're not available anywhere. So that's definitely the kind of stuff that I think bootlegging is, in my opinion, something that should be commended for, because that way you archive some of this stuff so it doesn't get lost to time. And the rest of these are just kind of random stuff. Got Murder by Phone. This is not an official release. This is a really cool, fun movie. It deserves a release from Vinegar Syndrome or one of these other labels. I really don't know why this has not gotten a release. It was released by Warner Brothers, so I'm wondering if Warner Brothers can just, you know, release it themselves as, like, you know, one of those Warner Archive releases. Like, I don't understand why it's not out there. And then the rest of this stuff is TV shows. Got MTV's Liquid Television. I love this show. I think this show is creative, awesome, really, really fun. This is from Sloppy Seconds Sales. And speaking of him, I just remembered now off the top of my head, I think I have one other bootleg from him that is on a shelf somewhere. And I don't really know if I want to get it. It's just the Snake Eater films, the Lorenzo Lamas movies. It's the Snake Eater trilogy, just put on a Blu Ray, you know, with, you know, pretty basic cover art. So I explained what it is. I think that's enough. And the same guy, he also did these two. Dark Room, which I heard was coming out officially from somebody, but I haven't heard anything about it since. Because I saw something on a group online that was talking about Dark Room, and it was going to get an official release somewhere overseas in the UK or something, and I was really psyched about it because I really liked this show. And then I've heard nothing since. Now, the version that I got from Sloppy Seconds is inferior to the version that I decided to make myself, because all he did is just put, like, I don't know, lower quality, lower res versions of the DVD rips that have been floating around for years of the show. And I actually had the ISOs, which are the actual like copies of the official DVD releases that I was able to find online years ago. And so I just burned them to DVDRs. So this is basically the old DVD release from the UK of this show, Darkroom, which is a very short-lived horror anthology show from I think like the early '80s. And then speaking of horror shows, got Werewolf the series. Now this is another one from Sloppy Seconds. This just I think takes the chiller rips and puts them on there. Now I did actually pay for the French release of this. That's now out of print. But I sold it to a local record shop as soon as I could because the quality is fucking garbage. Everybody looks like they're a tomato. It looks like it has some like DNR or some fucking bullshit added in processing, post processing or it is just so fucking awful and atrocious, and it goes for like hundreds of dollars nowadays. Do not buy that shit. If you are a collector, do not buy that French release of Werewolf. Don't do it. It's a waste of money. Trust me. Because the picture quality is fucking garbage. It makes the show pretty much unwatchable. Everything just looks like it's smeared with Vaseline, and everybody looks like they're, killer tomatoes, and it is just terrible. But the chiller rips are okay. I would love for this to get an official release, and it was going to by Shout Factory, but then something happened and the release got canceled. So there is that. So those are the DVDs. Now, I have a bunch of Blu-rays. Most of my bootlegs are Blu-rays, to be perfectly honest. There are some 4Ks, but not many. And these are from, I think, a couple of these are from Sloppy Seconds again. Yeah, this one's from Sloppy Second Sales. Muppet Babies, because I grew up with this show. I used to watch it all the time. And there's no official release of the show. You can't stream it anywhere. See, that's the other thing, too. Some of these shows, you can't stream. You can't watch these shows legally anyway. So, Muppet Babies is one of them. Because of, I think, a lot of the rights, issues involved with the show. Because the songs they used, or the footage from actual movies that they used in some of the episodes. And then I think this one is streaming now, but I don't want to give Disney my money. So this is The Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Another show that I grew up with. So that's why I grabbed that. And these are from a guy named Monsterland Media. And this guy's been at this for years. And honestly, he has a bunch of other releases I would love to get. But the thing is, he charges a pretty hefty price for his bootlegs. Like, I mean, quite a good chunk of money. Every now and then he might have like a sale or something, but a lot of the time he's charging like pretty hefty prices. So, there are some that I want to add to my collection, some TV shows, but I'm not really in a rush because man, his prices are pretty steep. And honestly, for the quality that you get, like, I don't really think he should be charging as much as he is. But that's just me. Maybe he's, really upped his game over the years. But, I don't know. But this is Erie, Indiana. I have the actual DVD release now. When I got this, I didn't have the DVD release because it was out of print and I could never find it. So, Erie, Indiana, horror anthology show I honestly really like. Speaking of horror anthology shows, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Now this one, there's a little more effort put into it. With the artwork there, with the member of the Midnight Society and everything. This technically did get an official release from Nickelodeon for like on DVD, but the DVDs are out of print and crazy expensive, so I just went with the Blu-ray, even though it cost me a decent amount of money when I got it a while back. And we have Extreme Ghostbusters, which nowadays there's another one like there because there's like a better version of the show that's streaming now. But when I got this is like the only version that you could pretty much get. And you can see like the cover art is stretched. This one didn't cost me as much though. This one was like I think 20 something bucks or whatever. So it was more, in a reasonable price range. This Kim Possible, the complete series, this cost me like I don't know, I think it was like 80 bucks or something. But this has all 4 seasons of the show, 86 episodes and the movies. And I thought that was pretty good value. And this is before, it was streaming in full on Disney Plus or any of that other stuff. And Kim Possible, I think it only had one complete season that was released on DVD and a movie. And I don't think any of the other seasons were ever released on physical media by Disney. So, yeah, this is like the only way to get the complete show. I love Kim Possible. I used to watch this all the time on Disney Channel. So I definitely wanted to get my hands on that set. And another series from Monsterland Media, Men in Black, the complete animated series. Another one I used to watch a lot. I think it used to air reruns on Nickelodeon, I think, at one point. And most of the episodes look good. Some don't look that great because that's the best quality that he could find that was available. Like this is a show that I think Sony was going to release officially at one point, but then they just canceled it. And they never released the DVD. I heard news about it. And I was like, cool. I like that show. And then they never released the DVD. And I don't know if it's able to be streamed in its entirety. I know like the first 2 seasons you could stream on like Crackle or something. But I don't think the 3rd season was like ever streamed in full anywhere. And then this is Spider-Man the Animated Series. I love this show. One of my favorite animated shows of all time. Like it's right up there for me with Batman the Animated Series and Superman the Animated Series and Justice League and Batman Beyond and X-Men. But the only way to get it officially is like some out of print overseas, I think DVD from the UK, because the American releases were just selected episodes that were put together as like a mini movie or something. Like the Ultimate Villain Showdown and the Venom Saga and Spider-Man, Doc Ock, Spider-Man, Green Goblin, just garbage, awful fucking releases. Like, what the hell was Disney and Buena Vista thinking? They released the entire series of Iron Man, but they never released Spider-Man the animated series, the 90s Spider-Man animated series. Disney never released that officially in its entirety in the United States. Beyond fucking stupid. They should release that on Blu-ray officially now. It would sell. And it would sell well. Because people still love that show. But I guess I gotta stick with the bootleg. This is an earlier bootleg. And I think he's done one recently that's supposedly better. But he's taken a liking to doing like upscales lately. From what I've been seeing with his screenshots, and there is a 4K upscale or HD upscale that somebody did of this show that's been floating around in the internet, and I don't really like the way it looks. So, like, the colors are brighter, things look a little bit better in that regard, but a lot of the animation flaws in this show really show up when it's upscaled because of, like, all the stuff that the upscaling software is doing. And so like stuff is blurry, people's faces look weird. I don't really like it. So I'd rather it look kind of a little shitty 480p or whatever that's put on a Blu-ray and then upscale that with my player than any of the extra stuff that people are doing with programs or whatever. But that's it for those. Now these, uh, pretty much all of them except for two are done by very good friend of mine who has retired from the game of making bootlegs. But I'll show those after I show these first. This is one I got from Facebook Marketplace, from one of the physical media collectors groups before it went under, or at least the first version of it went under until it was resurrected by an asshole who shall not be named. And now the group is a zombie group that people, for some reason, still think is the same group as it was before. It's not. The community is not the same, and you have an asshole mod. But I digress. I'm not really gonna go further into detail with that. But the Encyclopedia of Horror. This is a series similar to the A to Z of horror, with Clive Barker, that has like a bunch of interviews with different people involved in the horror industry from like the 80s. And I think it's like late 80s, if I remember correctly, is when this came out. 89. That's when this aired. And I had the Laserdisc set. It was something that I spent a pretty penny on, and I had it in my collection for a long time. But, things got a little tight, so I had to sell it recently to a local record shop, which is fine, because I had things I needed to pay for, and, it is what it is. Hours get cut at work. You got to find another way to, make some money. And I was okay with that because I had this, because I had the series backed up on this Blu Ray that I got from a seller on the Facebook group. This is a really cool series, by the way. I would love to do a video on this show one of these days. I really would. But this, I will probably say, is probably my favorite bootleg that I have. There are some other contenders that are up there for sure, but this is probably my favorite. And this is Freddy's Nightmares, the series. So this is the complete Freddy's Nightmares TV show. The only semi-official release it ever got, if you're not including the Blu-ray box set that had all the Nightmare on Elm Street films that New Line did, along with Warner Brothers, that had like a couple episodes on it, was a release from the UK, and I think it had like the pilot, I think maybe two other episodes on it, or maybe one other episode. I don't remember the exact details, but I do know that it did not sell very well, and it completely killed any chance of the show ever getting an official release, even overseas. And there's been attempts to release this on Blu-ray from other, kind of shady labels, but the release never came out. This, though, is from a guy named Bob Betamax, and I got it once again from the Facebook group. And this cost me a lot. Like, it was like 89, 90 something dollars. But it's 33 hours approximately. It's a lot of content, and this is a labor of love by him. He put a lot of work into this. So, I figured, might as well pay him, for his hard work. Because for years, there was like this other Freddy's Nightmare set that was floating around, that was on DVD and, made by some guy in Brazil. And he was no longer able to be contacted, and there's no way to get the set. I had a DVD set of this show that I got from a pawn shop when I was living in Oklahoma City, or when I was in Michigan. I think I'm trying to remember exactly whether it was Michigan or Oklahoma City. I think it was Oklahoma City. And it was just DVDRs, and the quality was honestly pretty rough. This, though, is significantly better, even though it's still 480p at best, because it's the original broadcasts, because this actually includes all 44 episodes of Freddy's Nightmares from the original broadcast airings and home video sources that are remastered, touched up a little bit, with some programs, but not in a way where it looks glaringly bad or like weird, like a lot of AI upscales tend to look. Because this is before that era, and has a ton of extras as well that are exclusive only to this set. And I I I love this set. I think it's really fucking cool, and I appreciate the hard work that Bob Betamax put into it. People have pirated this, of course. People have pirated this set over the years, but I actually have one of the few actual sets that he made. So that's another thing that makes it really cool, is that these were very limited sets. I think he only sold them to a few, like a handful of people on the group, and I was one of them. So yeah, I love that set. And it's not the greatest show ever, but it's weird and bizarre and enjoyable enough that I still like it. I actually like Freddy's Nightmares. I don't think it's a crappy show like other people do. Now, next up, I got a bunch of TV shows, a complete series from my good friend, the retired one. And these are definitely right up there when it comes to some of my favorite releases as well. I mean, probably top 5 of my favorite bootleg releases are all going to be what I've already shown you, like the Nightmare on Elm Street set, and some of the sets here. And one of my favorite sets is definitely this Spawn, the complete series. This is the complete HBO series, Spawn, and it's an HD. And I had the official release. It was a DVD release from back in the day. I had it, but it was notorious for having issues with the discs, and eventually my discs stopped working. And so I was pretty much stuck without Spawn until my friend came along and he made this set. And this is a really awesome set, and just showcases like these just really spectacular quality and effort that my friend put into these sets. Like, he just went all out, and it was almost as if you bought it like it was like a retail version, or like from a label. Like, it was legitimately that good. Like, he has menus and everything, and with music and photos, and features and interactivity, and it's just really really talented creator when it comes to like these bootleg releases. And because it's Warner Brothers and they suck, they're not gonna release this officially, which I have no idea why. It's Spawn. Like, they put it on HBO Max. Like, they should just release this show officially on Blu Ray anyway, through like Warner Archive or something. But until that happens, I'm perfectly fine with this, because it's got the HD versions that were on HBO Max. It's got all the features from the previous DVD releases. And then, it's got these discs that, have artwork on them. And this is just a really cool, awesome set. And I really like this show. So I'm really glad to have that. I'm probably going to say I am going to say this is my second favorite bootleg release. Like, that's probably like fourth. But it's definitely up there. This is my number 2. Beavis and Butthead, the uncut series. So this has every episode of Beavis and Butthead, the original run, with all of the music videos intact, and every episode that was available in a remastered form is in here, and the music videos are edited back in. And not only that, it's got a ton of features, like a ton of bonuses that would never be on a release from MTV or Paramount if they did decide to release this show again in some format. And Beavis and Butthead was notorious for a while for being a show that, yeah, you could get it officially in some capacity, but you're not getting the full show. A lot of shorts are missing. You didn't have the music videos, so on and so forth. I do have season 4 though, the official Blu Ray, because there was nothing wrong with that. Like it was uncut. It was the same as when it aired on MTV. And I don't know if there's plans to do releases of the newer seasons. I would love to get those, but I don't know if there's a plan to do that. And I would not be surprised if there is no plan to do that, sadly. But I just love this set. This set is just really awesome. Like, this set is really cool. It definitely does not suck. And there's just so many really awesome, cool things about it. This didn't come with it. This is just something that my mom found randomly. Like, I don't she didn't even know where it came from. This was literally just somewhere in storage, like in some, like the garage or something my mom was looking through, and she was like, "Oh, like Beavis and Butthead, so I thought you liked that." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool." So I just made it a bonus part of this set. And like, just look at the attention to detail with this set. I mean, look at the artwork on the discs. I mean, each disc has different artwork on it, and it also carries over to the actual content on the discs themselves, because the menu is fully interactive, and it's like you're clicking through channels, and it's just a really creative, awesome, incredible release. And sometimes I go back and forth whether or not Freddy's Nightmares is number one, or whether or not this Beavis and Butthead set is number one, because I just love it. I love it so much. It's so good. Um, Here's another set from the same creator, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the complete 2003 series. This does have an official release for Nickelodeon, but it's only on DVD. And this is Blu Ray. And that's a little bit better, even though I don't think it's HD. Yeah, it's just standard definition. Well, there's Turtles Forever is, 720p. But, yeah, it's just standard definition on Blu-ray, but just way more attention to detail, way more care into the design, and it also has some extra bonuses that I don't think are on that DVD set, and it has the uncut full-length version of Turtles Forever on it. So yeah, that's a really cool set. Then here's another one. This is Dark Side of the Ring. This is seasons 1 and 2. When I got this, I think these are the only seasons that were made. There's been more seasons recently. But for right now, like, this is the only one I have, because it was the only one that he was able to create. And this is a great show. Wish it actually had an official release. Here's another really awesome, cool MTV bootleg set. Celebrity Deathmatch, the complete series. So this is every episode is Celebrity Deathmatch. It's got all 4 seasons. It's got both seasons from the MTV2 reboot. It's got a bonus behind the scenes episode, music videos from Marilyn Manson, a trailer for the video game. So like, this is another really cool set, and MTV's not going to release this officially. I think they only released some VHS tapes, and like, I don't know I think they maybe did like 1 DVD, I think, and it just didn't have the whole show. I didn't even have a complete season of it. So yeah, Celebrity Deathmatch. Let's get it on. And then we have South Park Imagination Land. Um, this is honestly one of my favorite South Park specials. I remember seeing this when it first aired, and I just thought it was hilarious. And this is the uncut version, so like it's the uncensored director's cut. Um, and you got Man Bear Pig there on the cover. I mean on the disc. And yeah, South Park Imagination Land. This is Goosebumps, the complete TV series. Now this does have an official release overseas on DVD, but it's out of print. And the American DVD releases were just lame. It was just select episodes of the show, and not even a complete season. But this has all the episodes on 2 discs. And, because it's 480p, you can get away with that, and it still looks fine. And I like how, he recreated the look of the paperbacks for the design of the cover art. And these two are probably two more of like some of my all-time favorites when it comes to my bootleg collection. We have Jackass, the complete series. This is uncut and restored. This is another serious labor of love from my friend. He put like tons and tons and tons of time into this. Not just, when it comes to, the design and everything, but also when it comes to finding all the footage, finding the bonus features. It was a similar undertaking as the Beavis and Butthead set, where he found footage that was missing from the DVD releases of Jackass and, put them back in. So yeah, it's got all all 25. Sorry, apparently I can't speak. I guess maybe, the liquid death is, doing something. Um, this is really good though. This is the Sweet Reaper tea from Liquid Death. And yeah, it's got all 25 episodes of Jackass and the original uncut broadcast versions, the unaired pilot episode that was never shown on MTV, and, other bonuses and stuff. So this is really awesome. And then this is definitely probably my third favorite bootleg that I have, because this is the complete first season of Unsolved Mysteries. I love this show. I did a podcast with another friend of mine named Josh Cannon, who has a channel called Dancing with Ghosts. Go check it out if you haven't already. And we did this podcast for like almost 10 years, and was called Uncovering Unexplained Mysteries. It was originally called Uncovering Unsolved Mysteries because it was a podcast where we talked about this show. And this is a set that I requested to my friend, and that I also helped build. There were things that I helped add to this set, which is why I actually have my name on the back as a producer, as an executive producer, as well as another friend of mine named Chris, because he also provided some very rare, extra footage as well. Because when this show initially premiered on streaming on Amazon, the Film Rise versions of the show, there were segments that were missing. And through different VHS rips and different, sources, we were able to get the complete season. And so my friend, he took the footage and edited it in with the Film Rise versions. So yeah, there's a little bit of a quality dip, when you're watching some of the Film Rise episodes, but it's worth it because you get like the full show, because there were a lot of segments that for whatever reason, just got cut out of the film rise versions. And so this has all the full-length episodes of the first season of the show, which is honestly one of the best seasons of the show anyway. And this also is special because it includes all of the specials that predated the series. Because before Unsolved Mysteries became a series, a weekly series on television, it was a series of specials. And it actually was hosted by different hosts. It was hosted by Raymond Burr and Carl Malden. And then it was hosted by Robert Stack. So this includes all of these series specials that were hosted by Robert Stack. So those aren't even on streaming. Those are not even on the Film Rise packs of season 1. So yeah, this is a really special set for a multitude of different reasons. And yeah, I love this show. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. And this is definitely one of my favorite bootlegs that I have because of, the personal connection I have with it. I love this show, but also I helped produce it. So, and that definitely makes it extra special. And the rest of these are all just Blu-rays from different movies and stuff from pretty much the same friend of mine. The bulk of my bootleg collection is really from him, and thanks to him and his just generosity and just his amazing work over the years. So you have Stakeout, which I love. I don't know why another Stakeout has a Blu-ray, but not this. But, till it does. I got the Blu-ray, the bootleg version. We have National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1, another one that I really enjoy. Does not have an official release anywhere. So go with the bootleg. At the time, this was not officially released uncut with the additional footage. So that was a release that my friend created. But now there is, I think, a release that has uncut footage. I think it's the 4K, which I don't have yet. So I'm just okay with the bootleg for right now. At the time, Thunderheart did not have a Blu-ray. Now it has a 4K of all things, which is pretty cool. This is an underrated gem, if you ask me. I think this is actually a really good movie. Not enough people talk about it. This, yes, it's Santa's sleigh. But I can have some dumb fun with this movie. So I'm glad to have the Blu-ray. This is The Ritual. This is actually a really fucking awesome horror film. And I don't know why it has not gotten a release in the US. As far as I know, it doesn't. And I really don't know why. Because this movie is fucking sick. I have no idea why this does not have a release. Then we have this double feature. 3 Men and a Baby, 3 Men and a Little Lady, because Disney sucks and they don't want to release these on Blu-ray. So I got the bootleg version. At the time, this was not available when I got this. And it wasn't really released until Shout Factory wound up releasing it. What's kind of funny is Shout Factory just basically used the same poster art and the same kind of graphic design as my friend, just without the Paramount Cult Classics thing. I would like to get the Shout Factory release though, because it has features and I think it has a little bit better of a transfer, because this is just the HD transfer that was on streaming. This is a Netflix original, Bird Box. Has not been officially released because it's Netflix. DuckTales, Treasure of the Lost Lamp, another childhood favorite of mine. I think this might have gotten it has a DVD, but I don't know if it has a Blu-ray or not. And at the time when I got this was not available. But now, ladies and gentlemen, The Fabulous Stains does have an official release. It's a really good one, too, that I'd like to pick up someday. Uh, just more bootlegs for the same source. I actually have some from somebody else to show you like the drastic difference in quality, from one bootleg creator to the next. But the Terminator with this awesome looking cover art, which I really love. I think this is just sick. And the reason why I have this in a bootleg is because it has the mono mix. So this is before the 4K came out, which actually finally included the mono mix, which was only available on Laserdisc for so many years, which is where this mix comes from. It comes from the Laserdisc. I don't know why the original theatrical audio of the Terminator was not available on Blu Ray for many, many years. But finally, they stopped that stupid shit and put it on the 4K. But I'm still going to hang on to this because the 4K has some AI remastering that I'm not super fond of all the time. And I mean, look at this. This artwork is just fucking awesome. It's terrific. So there's definitely holding on to that. This is Private Parts. I don't know. I think this got a MOD release from Paramount. I think. I could be wrong, but I think they did a made on demand release recently for this. I could be completely way off, but I could have sworn they did. This is an extremely goofy movie. Disney Movie Club did do a Blu-ray of this, but at the time it had not come out yet. And I got it for the Goofy movie collection because my friend also did one for a Goofy movie. And what's pretty crazy about a Goofy movie is that I don't have it anymore, but the bootleg that he did, it looked exactly like the Disney Movie Club release, just without like the yellow bordering. Like it looked identical. Like it almost looked like they literally just copied what he did, but he just basically borrowed graphic design elements from Blu-rays that already existed from Disney. So they just copied their same formula, but I just thought it was kind of funny that they looked almost identical. Speaking of Disney, The Jungle Book. I like this film. I think it's actually pretty good, pretty underrated. Can't get this officially because Disney, for some reason, disowned that movie. And here's another one, thanks to Disney, you can't get Toys, which is probably, I will say this is my fifth. This is my fifth favorite bootleg because I love this movie. I think this film is very underrated, and this actually looks pretty good. This is the HD version that was on streaming. I don't even think it's streaming anymore. Last time I checked, it wasn't even streaming anymore. It was on Amazon, and then last time I checked, it wasn't even on Amazon anymore. So I don't even know if you can even stream Toys. And the DVD's out of print, and like this film to me should get a 4K from one of the boutique labels. It really deserves it. Because this movie's production and art design is astounding, and this movie would look absolutely phenomenal in 4K. And I mean, it being a flop doesn't really change anything. There's been a lot of stuff that's been coming out lately on 4K that aren't like massive big hits financially. So Toys would be right up there because of the cast and the director, and I really hope that Disney will let somebody make a 4K of this. It could even be Vinegar Syndrome. I will pay 50-60 bucks for a box of Vinegar Syndrome, ultimate whatever box set of Toys. I'll do it. I'll do it for Toys in a heartbeat. Some more. We got My Fellow Americans, Dennis the Menace, which is another one I'm surprised does not have a release from Warner Brothers. You got the John Hughes connection. It is a film that a lot of 90s kids did grow up with. So I don't know what's going on. There is a 2K restoration of it that was on streaming. That's what this is, but there's no like actual official release of Dennis the Menace. And here are some bootlegs from other people. This is from somebody on I think like Facebook Marketplace, not Marketplace, a Facebook group again. The Devils, Ken Russell's The Devils. This has not had an official release for some reason in the United States or the UK due to its controversy. At least not on Blu Ray or in HD. Just the DVD version, which is out of print. I'm really surprised this has not gotten a release yet, like from Criterion or something. That one really surprises me. That's an example of a different bootleg creator that actually puts a lot of effort, a lot of work into it. These are just lazy. This is the Kiss, which I thought was pretty lame. This is the Night Flyer, which I switched into a different case because this really sucks. I like the artwork, but the person who made this disc, they did a really shitty job. They just took like an upscaled, like 720p version of the film and put it on a Blu Ray with no menu, if I remember correctly, or if there was a menu, it's bare bones. And the version of the film they put on there is it's lame. I got ripped off because you can actually see like the green flickering or whatever that sometimes happens when a codec is messed up. You see it in the corner of the presentation of the film. So when you watch the movie on this Blu-ray, you see this stupid freaking green flickering nonsense in one of the corners, and it's distracting as hell, and it makes it really hard to watch the film. This is another one I'm like, why the hell has this not gotten a 4K or a Blu-ray from some boutique label? Like it's a Stephen King film. You know, it's based on a Stephen King story. You know, it's got Miguel Ferrer in it. But then I realized that it was produced by Richard P. Rubenstein. Then I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's why. Because Richard P. Rubenstein is a greedy asshole, and he doesn't want to allow people to, you know, pay an affordable price to distribute his films on physical media. He's the guy who's responsible for Dawn of the Dead not having an official 4K release in the United States, by the way. He's the one to blame. You know, Second Sight does a spectacular job, and I love their box set for Dawn of the Dead, and I'm looking forward to their Day of the Dead box set, but he is the reason why we don't have one in the US. And then this is another one from the same guys. Sometimes they come back again, and sometimes they come back for more. The picture quality on this is good because it just takes the Lionsgate web rips, like the streaming versions that were in HD. And, you know, it being a double feature is fine because there was a DVD release of this from Lionsgate that was just a double feature. So, this one's not too bad, but, you know, the other ones, the Night Flyer in particular is straight up garbage. My friend does a way better job. And speaking of him, more. I was telling you, most of my bootlegs come from the same source. So we have True Lies. This actually is the streaming version before James Cameron fucked with it. And it also includes an uncropped open matte version of the movie and features. So this is the version of True Lies to me that I will only own and I will only watch, other than the 35 millimeter print that he put on a Blu-ray for me as well. But other than that, I will not. I refuse to watch James Cameron's revisionist fucking bullshit fucking 4K. I will never watch that shit. I will never own it unless somebody decides to send it to me as a joke for free. Along with Aliens, I'd be like, yeah, okay, it's a gift and it's free. I'm not going to complain about free 4Ks. But other than that, no, I will not pay any of my money to own any of those fucking releases. Most Wanted, Keenan Ivory Wayans action film, does not have an official release, so Got the bootleg as well as a Low Down Dirty Shame, which I really like. I love this film. This film is really underrated. And got Big Top Pee Wee. I wasn't super big on it, but you know, it was sent to me. The Chase with Charlie Sheen. Really enjoy this one. Another one that doesn't have an official release because it's Fox. There's a DVD, but you know the HD version that was on streaming is better. There's a German release, but it sucks. Like it's technically official, but it's garbage. And this does not have that transfer. That transfer was terrible. I hated the look of that. I don't know what print they got for that release, but they should have sent it back. And then this is Inside. This is a release that I actually helped with because I sent him the DVD, like the ISO of the US DVD release, because it has, I think, like a commentary or has the audio, certain audio on it that's not on the actual Blu Ray. Because there was a Blu Ray release of this, but they apparently fucked up the audio, and this has corrected audio. And you see, he was actually making slip covers, and you know, just really going all out, man. High quality releases. And then the rest of this, there's some that are not from him, but most of it is still from the same person. But I'll show the rest of the ones I have that aren't made by the same bootlegger. But these are made by the same guy. This is Doomed, the documentary about Roger Corman's The Fantastic Four. And then from the same guy who made this documentary, because he was on a Facebook collectors group and he was, you know, letting people know about these releases, and you could ask him, you'd send him a PM and ask him to send you them. And he also made this, which is the film. This is the 1994 unreleased Fantastic Four. This is the original version that is upscaled in 1080p. Looks honestly the best that this is ever going to look. And it also has an audio commentary with the director. And a trailer that was sourced from a 35mm print of it. And this is the documentary, and the reason why it's cool to, you know, have gotten it from the filmmaker is that he also included a bonus disc. Now you're wondering, like, why are these in the bootleg section? Because technically they are. Technically they are bootlegs. Like they're BDRs. They're not pressed discs. Like, I mean, look at this. Like the artwork on there, like it's definitely not official. Like it was not something that was released, you know, in or available to purchase in store or anything. So those are really cool. This is another cool one. This is a film called Killer. Got this. I think I had to order it from like this guy's website, and it was like not available, or a Kickstarter or Indiegogo or something, and this took a while. This took a long time to get to me, but it did eventually get to me. I actually haven't watched it yet, but I paid for it because the trailer actually looked pretty good, and I like the idea of, you know, I like the fact that, you know, it's this film that, you know, was you know, made on a low budget, and you know, the version that was released on video was not the finished version of the film that the director wanted, and so he came back all these years later and, you know, worked on the movie and finished it the way that he wanted to, and you know, and it's technically, you know, an official release, but kind of not, you know, because you had to get it from, I think, the campaign or something. So it's as close as you're gonna get to like an official bootleg, basically. And speaking of like official bootlegs, here's another one. Oat Studios Volume 1. because this is something I think you could have purchased online directly through their website or their, message them on Facebook or something. And the reason why this is really cool because it's got all of these short films that Oat Studios did, and I think they're on YouTube, and they're really cool and they're really creative. And I had no idea this even existed until I found it actually in a store. It was sold, with all the other used Blu-rays or whatever, and so I grabbed it, and I've never seen another copy of this in a store ever since. So that's Oat Studios, Volume 1. I don't think there ever was a Volume 2. And then this is another one where I thought I got an official overseas release of Necronomicon, which is another film I don't know why this has not been released on Blu-ray in the U.S. Or has a 4K from a boutique label. Like this has got to be one that somebody, some label, is working on. Because I mean, it's got the Lovecraft connection. You have Jeffrey Combs in the cast. Brian Yuzna is one of the directors, along with Christoph Gans. And it's very gory and bloody and goopy, full of practical effects. Like this is like one of those movies where it has cult classic written all over it, and I do not know why this is not available on Blu-ray in the United States. And I think the French release, which is what this is like out of print and hard to find. So, I just have this version, which has all the features from that release, and it has, the film, and, it looks legit, doesn't it? Like, but then it's clearly a BDR. So unless it's one of those things where the French version was not official anyway, and it was just some kind of bootleg. I don't know, but it's just one of those things where I look closer at it. It definitely looks like somebody printed the artwork off. I got it off eBay, and it didn't cost that much. So, but I did technically get ripped off because they didn't sell it as a bootleg. Like they weren't saying this is a bootleg. They were like, no, this is an official French release, and it's not. But I'm still glad to have it because I like Necronomicon, and it's just not available. I have no idea. This technically has been released on Blu-ray by Disney and Fox. They did that with their recent 4K release. And I have that. And I like the look of it. It's like the only James Cameron 4K, except for parts of the Terminator, which I would say is pretty tolerable. And Titanic. But I'm still going to keep this because this actually has, the version of the film that wasn't messed with any AI. And it has the theatrical version and the special edition. It also has an uncropped open matte print of the film. So it actually has, I think, a 35 millimeter print of it on here. And it has all the features from all of the other releases of The Abyss. And this is definitely up there as one of my favorite bootlegs as well. Because I love The Abyss. It's one of my all-time favorite films. This is like the ultimate edition of The Abyss, really. Because it also includes the soundtrack. He put both discs of the soundtrack on here, which is just awesome. It's just really, really cool. So yeah, this is The Abyss, the ultimate like collector's edition like set of the film that I will still keep because, sometimes I might not want to see the revisionist AI version of The Abyss. And sometimes I might want to just listen to the soundtrack, which is available officially, but like with a lot of soundtrack releases, they can be kind of hard to find in limited quantities, at least when it comes to like the 2-disc version. And this is Pearl Harbor, the director's cut, because it was not released on Blu-ray. You only had the theatrical cut released on Blu-ray, and this is actually a little bit better. It is a little bit better in a lot of ways than the theatrical cut. This is the original War of the Worlds. This has gotten a release officially, but this one is really cool because he made a glow-in-the-dark cover. And I'm just kind of meh on this movie anyway, so I'm fine with just the bootleg. I don't need to get anything else when it comes to that movie. This is Condor Man, a quirky, fun spy caper that Disney did. And they never released it on Blu Ray. Didn't even do it through the Disney Movie Club. It had a DVD through Anchor Bay when Anchor Bay had a deal with Disney. But this is better than the DVD because it's, in HD. Speaking of things that are not on Blu Ray, Ernest Saves Christmas. All the other Ernest movies, except for like the direct-to-video ones, the ones that didn't get like a theatrical release or even a limited theatrical release, like Slam Dunk Ernest and well, technically you can get those on DVD, but they aren't on Blu-ray. Slam Dunk Ernest, Ernest Goes to School, Ernest Goes to Africa, Ernest Rides Again, like none of those are on Blu-ray. The only Ernest films that are on Blu-ray officially is Scared Stupid and Goes to Jail and Goes to Camp. Those are the only ones that are officially available on Blu-ray. Ernest Saves Christmas, which is a lot of people's favorite Ernest film and one of their favorite Christmas movies, it's not available on Blu-ray, which is baffling to me. Honestly, I would love for a label to just, like Kino Lorber, make a deal with Disney again and just do a box set of all the Ernest movies. That would be really cool. And then this stack here is it. And these are just, once again, just all releases from the same creator. This is Three Ninjas. This is another favorite release of mine because I love Three Ninjas. I think this movie is honestly still a lot of fun, even as an adult. And this includes both versions of the movie. So it has the uncut international version, and it has the US theatrical edit in widescreen and an open matte. And I helped with that because I provided the ISO of my DVD copy of it, and he used that for this release. And I would love to see this film get like an actual special edition with interviews with all the cast, because the actors who play the kids in this, the Three Ninjas, they still do reunions, they still talk about the movie. So I honestly think they would love to do interviews for Three Ninjas. Who knows, maybe. Well, I mean, it's Touchstone, and that's the problem. It's Touchstone. It's freaking Disney. So that's one of the main problems with it, is that, you're probably never going to get something from them in terms of, like, a deal with anybody, because Disney sucks in that regard. But I would love to see Three Ninjas get a special edition. This is Black Christmas, the remake, the other remake. Not the other one, which really sucks. I wasn't really super big on this either, but does have some good gore, and I actually really like this red case, and I think it looks really cool. So, Black Christmas. This is a gem. This is another one I really want to see some label release officially. Come on, Strangeland. It's got D. fucking Snyder in it from Twisted Sister. And it was ahead of its time when it comes to a lot of the torture porn genre that became really popular after this. And this is a good release because it's got 3 versions of the film. It's got the work print, it's got the theatrical cut, it's got the unrated director's cut, it's got all the features from that release that D was selling as a bootleg, which is it's kind of ironic and honestly kind of perfect that this is a bootleg Blu-ray of Strangeland, because D. Snyder was selling a bootleg DVD of Strangeland for years at conventions. This is a Lionsgate film called Never Going Back. these girls that, you know, are like high, and, you know, it's almost like a Cheech and Chong thing, but with two girls. Like, I really wanted to get into this, but I wasn't super big on it. It's one, though, that I wouldn't mind revisiting, but I do remember it not being particularly great. This is Guyver Dark Hero, another release that I helped with, so this is definitely up there as one of my favorite bootlegs that I have, because I just love Guyver Dark Hero. I mean, David Hayter is fucking awesome in this, and look at that suit. That suit is so awesome by Steve Wang. And this is the HD version of the film, uncut, and it includes the features from the Japanese Laserdisc, which is subtitled in Japanese, but it has, like, I think it actually has, like, English, like, dubbing, I think. And then you have, like, the interview with David Hayter, which I found on YouTube, and the theatrical trailer. And I've heard that this is going to get a release, maybe from the same company that did the first movie. And I would love to get that. I would love to get this in 4K. But for right now, I'm still fine with the bootleg release, because, you know, still looks good. These are a bunch of Netflix movies. Netflix really needs to start releasing these, like, officially. Get a deal from a label or something. Because, you know, these movies are popular enough, you know, that people would like, you know, to have them officially. This is The Babysitter. I think there's a sequel, but I don't have that one. This is Bright, which I actually like. I think this is actually a pretty decent film. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. And we have the Jerky Boys movie, which is fun. I love the Ozzy Osbourne cameo in it. The fucking monkeys! And this actually includes the videotape. Their Jerky Boys videotape, Don't Hang Up Tough Guy, as a special bonus feature. So you not only get the movie in HD on Blu Ray, but you also get the other home video release of the Jerky Boys, and like a behind the scenes featurette. Apparently I just couldn't hang on there. Osmosis Jones is too heavy. So this is Osmosis Jones. I don't love this movie, but this is a freebie threw in there, and it does have some cool animation, and it is a fun, interesting idea. So I'm glad to have it. Richie Rich. I actually really like this movie. It's actually one of my favorite Macaulay Culkin movies. Maybe it's a little bit of nostalgia, because I grew up watching this on VHS all the time, along with the Home Alone films. But I still think it holds up well, even as an adult. Like, I actually think this is legitimately a fun kids movie. Macaulay Culkin's still charming. It's got a great supporting cast. I mean, John Larroquette is just a blast as the villain in that. Bowling trophies. Then we have The Watcher in the Woods, because Disney's lame. They didn't even release that in a Disney Movie Club exclusive, if I remember correctly. Dead Alive, because Peter Jackson has been promising this for years and has never done it. And I know I heard something about it again, and I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna believe it until I actually have it in my hands. It's gonna be like The Abyss 4K. I'm like, sure, Peter. Until then, I'm fine with this, because it has both versions of the film on it, and, you know, the DVD from Lionsgate's out of print anyway, so I, wouldn't be able to get a hold of that. Titan AE is another one I think should get an official release, even a 4K. This could look fucking awesome in 4K. But, for now, I'm fine with the Blu Ray. It actually looks quite good. Home Alone 3, because it was part of the collection. I'm not really big on the movie, but, it doesn't have a release officially on Blu Ray, so I'll hold on to it. This is a double feature with the Creep films, which I've heard good things about, but I've never seen. And I'm surprised they haven't been released, but it's a Netflix thing, I think. Then this is Cast a Deadly Spell, which is honestly a pretty fun companion piece to Necronomicon. Uh, and this hasn't had an official release, but I think it did get a streaming release recently. And that's it for the Blu-rays. And this is just the 4Ks I'm going to do a speed run through. This is a long video, but I mean, there's a lot of bootlegs. So, the request was to show all the bootlegs that I could. So, I got a lot. So, what can I say? So this is the 35 millimeter print of the Brave Little Toaster that's on a 4K disc. It has the original stereo mix, an alternate 5.1 surround mix of the movie, features and stuff. This is another one I'm shocked has not been released officially by Disney on Blu-ray or on 4K. Because this is a cult classic. Like, there are tons of people my age who grew up with this movie and would absolutely be all over an official release. But for whatever reason, Disney just doesn't really care and doesn't do anything with it. So yeah, because this actually is a bonus, a double disc. He put in a Blu-ray and a 4K in there. And this is another one that has both a Blu-ray and a 4K. This is Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. That was a Disney Plus exclusive. I really liked this. I thought this was a blast and a lot of fun. And I would buy an official release, but Disney isn't doing it. So, this is going to have to, cut it. Or more than just cut it. Like, this is fine. If they're not going to make an official release, then, I'll just find somebody who will. Which is the same with this Hulu original film called Fresh, which I fucking love. I think this is a fantastic film. I think this is really good. And it's a bummer that it did not get an official release. But, now I got one. So, Fresh, really like that film. That was another request of mine. I basically was like, can you make a 4K for me of Fresh? And he was generous enough to do that for me. And then he also did Barbarian, which I did help him a little bit with as well in terms of getting some of the features. This was being teased as getting an official release, but apparently talks fell through, and it looks like it's not. So I have an official release of it. And what's funny is, an unofficial release of it. My bad. And what's funny is I don't even really like this movie that much, but I'm not gonna turn down a cool project and a 4K. If I do ever want to revisit this, just for some of the aesthetics or the superior first half of the film, I can revisit it on 4K. This is special edition of Aliens, and this is actually I think an upscale. Or just straight up the 35 millimeter print of the special edition that's put on a 4K disc. Because it had a pretty extensive file size. So you put it on here. So this is the 35 millimeter version of the special edition of Aliens. Without any of the bullshit that James Cameron added to it with the 4K release. This is Underwater, which did not get a 4K, which is still kind of surprising to me. But since it's Disney, maybe it's not that surprising. And this was actually his first 4K. This is the first 4K that I think he made. And honestly, it looks great. Looks really good. Sounds great too. It's got the Dolby audio. I don't know if it had Atmos. Like when it hits streaming or not, or Blu-ray. But yeah, it looks really good for a bootleg 4K. And this is the other one. This is Hellraiser, the reboot remake, with the female Pinhead, which I have not seen. I have not seen this yet, but this did get a 4K from like some overseas company, but like. It's expensive, and I got this for a lot less, so I'm just gonna hold on to that because I don't even know if I like it. And then he threw in this, which is Super Mario Brothers: The Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach. And this was a pretty big deal at the time because this was the long thought lost. I think it was like a Japanese Super Mario Brothers short film, and somebody actually uncovered the 16 millimeter print of the film. And this is that. This is a 4K scan of that short that put on DVD and put on Blu Ray and 4K, which is pretty cool. For just for archival sake. So yeah, that's it. That's this super long video showcasing and showing you all my pretty significant collection of bootleg physical media. Like I said, there's some that I think I missed, but the video is long enough as it is, and maybe I'll show you the other ones if I track them down sometime in the future. But anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. See ya.